YouTube, welcome to my channel. This is going to be a brand new theory that I thought of after I made my previous theory about the Sanji rescue arc. My name is Firefist Backhouse, and this theory is kind of continuing on from that past theory I had, and what I think might also happen after, they rescue Sanji and go to Whole Cake Island where Big Mom is. I think there's two possibilities that are more than likely to happen if my first theory goes right, and this is basically the same theory, so a continuation of that theory. One, I do believe that Luffy will be asking Law to join him to rescue Sanji at Whole Cake Island from Big Mom. I believe this will give us a chance to have the alliance be continued, and the friendship and the bond between Monkey D. Luffy and Trafalgar Law, Trafalgar D. Water Law, to grow. And I don't really think that Law would separate his crew to just join Luffy's crew, just say bye to Beppo and everybody else after they've waited. I don't know if it was the whole 2 years or a year or 6 months, or I can't really remember how much time it stated that Law's crew was waiting on Zoe. I will eventually go back and read it, but as of right now, I'm not really 100% sure how long they've been waiting on Zoe. And I mean, like Law even said in the first place, he went in the mindset when Luffy and Law joined up in the first place to form the alliance to face Doflamingo and to aggravate Kaido and possibly face Kaido. He didn't think that he was gonna live past facing Doflamingo, and the whole reason he was doing this was A, to get revenge for Corazone's death by Doflamingo, who killed his own brother. Two was, if he couldn't kill him himself, he was gonna destroy the Smile Factory on Punk Hazard, capture Caesar Clown, which he did, and if they couldn't defeat Doflamingo, at least he has those things, as well as the factory that was in Dressrosa. They would still have Caesar as a trump card if, say, Luffy and Law never beat Doflamingo. I mean, that would just be one for the ages. I don't really think Doflamingo would just beat up Luffy like Luffy does to all his opponents, like Crocodile, like Don Krieg, like Captain Kuro, like Arlong, the list goes on. He just beats them up. He doesn't fight to kill, except for, I think the one time he will fight to kill is when he does eventually face Blackbeard. He won't just be satisfied with beating his ass and beating him up. He probably will kill Blackbeard, because, I mean, he is one of the main reasons why Ace is dead. I mean, he fought Ace to the point where Ace was weak enough that he could bring him in to Eni's lobby and join, the Shishibukai, the 7 warlords, in order to attack Impel Down. I don't really think, he was planning on having Monkey D. Luffy be trying to break Ace out of Impel Down at the same time. That was just kind of luck of the draw, or, maybe he knew via his observation hockey. He likely does have observation hockey, as it was stated, back when they met in Jaya, that he had, pretty strong hockey, even though, it wasn't close to being awakened yet, or even awakened yet. I heard that on the One Piece podcast, so I'm not exactly sure if those were the exact words, but supposedly he did sense that Luffy had some hockey, and I have been starting to read the One Piece series from the beginning, to kind of see foreshadowings and stuff, and make other theories and stuff, um, but yeah, I don't think Doflamingo would have just beat Luffy's ass. I think he would have killed him, and I think if Luffy would have lost that fight, and that would have been, you know, the end of Luffy, I don't really think Oda would have did that. I mean, I could see something, where Luffy gets badly damaged again and, barely survives, maybe after, Gear 4 went out, you know, um, say right at that moment, he was charging at Doflamingo. In the manga, that Doflamingo used his overheat thread or his bullet string or whatever, and as Luffy's muscles were deflating, he got, you know, say maybe pierced through the side or something, and while he was recovering hockey, he was losing a lot of blood. So it could have been something like that, but you know, there was differences. There's differences. I think if Luffy is brought to it, he will kill. But going back to my original theory, this is all off the top of my head, so sorry for my rambling. But going back to my original theory, I do think Luffy will ask Law to go with him, and after everything, when they're done rescuing Sanji, I don't really see him doing that with his crew, disbanding it and everything, you know, so, also with his mindset that he was probably going to die, maybe, that might be a possibility that, he tells his crew, everything. I mean, because, he left with Bebo and his crew to talk to him. Maybe he's gonna be telling them, look, I wasn't sure if I was gonna even come back to see you guys, to be honest. And, I knew that, everybody on my crew would be accepted because of Bebo, because of you, Beppo, and while fighting with Mugiwara, I revealed my full name, and that's when he'll tell them his full name and tell him that maybe he's thinking about either joining Luffy's crew as a main member or joining his fleet and traveling alongside Luffy, or it could be, something like that. Those are my two theories. I do think that's possible. That's one, that's two parts to my first theory. I think that Law could either join the Straw Hats, disband his crew, be a permanent member, will be able to help out, Chopper with healing everybody, it would, give them a bigger name, another powerful guy, it wouldn't just be the big trio, it would be the big two, and I mean, I would really be interested to see if, Law did join the crew full time, if him and Zoro would fight for, number two in power, between the fans, because everybody, as of this moment, after the time skip, there's not really a lot to judge. I mean, Zoro had that fight with Pika, but that was dragged on, and same with the Fishmen, and same with Punk Hazard. He has a few little fights against Fodder here and there, but he hasn't really gone full out, neither has Sanji. He had that little fight with Virgo, on Punk Hazard. He had a little bit of stuff that he was doing on Fishman Island, even though it was half of that arc. He was decapitated from looking at all the mermaids, because he is hose over bros. It's sad to say, but he had a little bit of there, and in Dressrosa, he was just off the Violet, and then went with the crew to Zoe, and all this stuff happened, and I kind of just lost my train of thought there, but if Law did join, it, depending on what happened next with the development we see with Zoro and Sanji, after the time skip, maybe they finally go full out during this arc, and, then we can evenly compare, Law, Zoro, and Sanji, if Law were to join the crew full time, or the Alliance, second best option. I don't really think that they will fully go their separate ways. I think that, Law was there when the Grand Fleet was formed after Dressrosa, so I think it's logical, especially after, all this time he's been spending with Luffy and all the Straw Hats, and, bonding with them, and bonding with another Willa D, and Monkey D. Luffy, Trafalgar D. Waterlaw. It could be a possibility that, if he doesn't disband his crew and join them full time, that he will keep his crew and just join the Grand Fleet and continue this alliance until Luffy becomes the Pirate King. Option number 2 is, kind of a two-part theory too. I said that, a small group of minks along with Peckham's, guiding them, Peckham's will guide them to Whole Cake Island to go rescue Sanji, and the other minks that travel with them will help guide them back to Zoe so they can fully reunite the crew. Maybe Wanda goes, Carrot goes, one of these characters that have been spotlighted, who knows, maybe, Big Mom gets so furious at Peckham's for deciding, not only once was he thinking about disobeying his orders by saying, just taking Sanji and lying to her, saying that they got away, when really he just, was thanking them for saving Zoe and letting Sanji go away before Capone, mafia style, shot him in the back, and then took everybody into his castle. But, or, she could even get really furious too, not only that, but on top of that, he brought Monkey D. Luffy and all these other people, this group of people, to come ruin her tea party. We don't know if it's over, if it got extended because, Sanji did something weird. We're not 100% sure what happened, after Capone left. It seems like, we might find out what happens in chapter 814, but, maybe there's a chance one of Peckham's, Wanda, one of the other minks that have been highlighted, maybe there's some minks that aren't being highlighted yet that are in Nakamushi's group that we haven't seen yet, in the Great Whale Forest or the White Whale Forest, something like that, and they're, maybe, they'll be part of the, 6 mink group, that goes with them to Whole Cake Island to rescue Sanji, and, maybe we get a mink on the crew, and if that doesn't happen, maybe, the minks join, the Straw Hat Alliance, because maybe there's a poneglyph there, and maybe Gold D. Roger visited Zoe, you know, right before he went to Raftel or right near the end of his journey, because Zoe is a moving island, so maybe when Roger went to it, Zoe could have been really close to Raftel, and it could have kind of been one of the connecting pieces in the poneglyph, because Rogers could hear all things, and Luffy can hear all things too. I mean, when he was in Fishman Island attacking Noah, he heard the Sea Kings. You know, he can hear all things just like Roger. So maybe Luffy discovers that there's a poneglyph on Zoe by just being how he is and deciding to go on a little adventure and everything, fully search Zoe after they come back with Sanji and everything, and while he's exploring the royal palace that the ancestors lived in from the beginning of Zoe, or one of those, maybe he finds one of the ruins, and he finds the poneglyph, and he can hear it, and somewhere in there it says that the poneglyph, and then it clicks in his head, oh, Robin's looking for the poneglyph, so he shows Robin the poneglyph, and eventually, maybe his fight with, Doflamingo and Big Mom unlocks some of his hockey even more, and one of the theories out there is that, Chopper can speak to animals, maybe he'll speak to Zonawisha, who is Zoe the walking elephant, or maybe Luffy's hockey will be, unlocked a bit, facing these great battles, because we know that he was able to hear the Sea Kings when he was using his arm in hockey, and he was using his emotion, and he was trying to save everybody, his crew, Fishman Island, from Noah falling on it before Sariahoshi, big crybaby, called the Sea Kings. And, he heard them say stop, so maybe because he had so much emotion when facing Doflamingo, maybe he'll have a lot of emotion because he's trying to rescue Sanji, and he's also not only facing Big Mom, but he's facing a lot of other people like Capone, maybe there's a lot of other strong people, like Tamago's in the crew too. We don't really know exactly how strong Tamago is and how many people are stronger or as strong or just as strong as Tamago. We don't know exactly what power level Big Mom's crew is at, and we don't really know anything about Big Mom, so maybe he unlocks it, maybe he doesn't, but I think that Zoe, the Sanji rescue arc, is gonna be, a big maybe turning point in One Piece. I mean, Oda did say that Sabadi Archipelago was the halfway point, and a few months ago there was a report coming out from one of his editors, or him himself, saying that it was about 70% done. Maybe after this Sanji rescue arc, maybe after that we go into a Void Century flashback, and maybe after that's all done and they leave Zoe and go to Wano, maybe that's 75% done, and there are people saying, maybe there's another time skip, maybe there's not. How about maybe there is a time skip, but maybe they do something like what Shanks did, where maybe Oda just does like a little time skip, maybe say after Luffy's done facing Big Mom and Kaido with his Grand Fleet and everything, he becomes a Yonko from the Yonko that he beat, So, the government kind of backs off of him, and, pirates back off of him, and, he gets territories, he gets islands, and, you know, maybe because he becomes a warlord, you know, maybe there's a time skip, you know, for a year, maybe a small time skip where, you know, they travel to Dressrosa, they travel to Punk Hazard maybe again. They travel to islands that, maybe some islands that aren't as, exciting and part of the main story, something that, like in, the beginning where we just went to Baratier, after we faced Buggy and, all this where we went, it was like 10, maybe 15 chapters, an arc, maybe 20 at the most, and then you had Alabasta and all these other things. Maybe it's something like that, like a small little time skip that, Oda could just do. And when we come back, Luffy has control, Dressrosa is now his land, but, we see what's happened, what's changed, what's been going on in the last year. He goes back to Fisherman Island, because he claimed that, maybe even Zoe is his territory, there's people saying, Yonkos have territory in the New World. But we don't really know about Zoe. People are saying maybe Shanks has territory over Zoe because Roger went there. But maybe after this, maybe we find out nobody has property over Zoe, and because Luffy and the Straw have saved it, and, if my theory is right and Zoro does stay there and Jack comes back and Zoro defeats Jack and they save it again, maybe that becomes, at the end of this arc, maybe, that's actually, just rambling on like this. I know this theory has gone really long, but I just thought of that. Maybe at the end of everything, we find out that Zoe is nobody's property. That this is the first time since Goldie Roger has been on Zoe that, there's ever been anything significant like Jack happening. Maybe they find that out, somehow by talking to the elephant Zoe, and we go into the flashback of the Void Century and a small flashback of Roger, on Zoe, maybe we eventually get that story of Shanks with Nakamushi and Dogstorm. I can't think of his, name in the manga. I know One Piece podcast call it that, and maybe after all this, Nakamushi and Dogstorm, maybe they reunite, and they say, Zoe is under the protection of the Revolutionary Army, under the protection of your father, because there are a lot of people theorizing because Pedro, or the one guy, said that the world is waiting on them, these two cannot die. I read a lot of people speculating they're part of the Revolutionary Army, and if that was true, that would be wild, If Zoe is property of the Revolutionary Army, that the Revolutionary Army, say, has the Beaver cards of Nakamushi and Dogstorm, and Dogstorm and Nakamushi have the Beaver cards of Monkey D. Dragon, maybe, maybe after all this, I just thought of something again. What if after all this, they go rescue Sanji, Luffy finds out that Sabo is in trouble because Blackbeard is going to attack the Revolutionary Army, and Luffy this time has his actual crew, has the Minks. What if then, after all that, he has to go and fight this big war again, with the Revolutionary armies, to save Sabo and everything. And what if Luffy doesn't get there in time and everything's working out and the only person left to save is Dragon, and Luffy, before he even gets to have a conversation, before he even gets to say, "Hey Dad, I'm Luffy," he gets killed right in front of his very eyes, just like his brother Ace, by Blackbeard this time. Something crazy. Maybe, he decapitates him, or crushes his skull completely, or crushes his body completely with the purr fruit, while touching him with the Nomi Nomi no Mi, because there are theories that it is devil fruit. And this time, both Sabo and Luffy witnessed that, Sabo being raised by Dragon, who is Luffy's actual father, so he's like a father to him because he hasn't had memories for so long. And then Luffy, his actual father, who he's never met. As far as we know, he's never met. Maybe there'll be a little flashback of, Luffy won't even remember it, but Dragon and his mom leaving him. But just imagine that. And then Luffy and Sabo snapping, but then the Marines come and they're there, and Blackbeard flees, and the Revolutionary Army is just disbanded, and everything's destroyed, and all this other stuff. And I don't really know where this is all going. This is all just the top of my head. I just thought of this while I was rambling. I think this theory has gone on long enough. I'm not sure exactly how long this has been going on, but if you stayed through the whole entire video to listen to my rambling and my weird, awesome theory, and to sum it all up, I think that after the rescue arc, with Luffy going to rescue Sanji and Zoro staying on Zou to save it in case Jack comes back, I think that there's a possibility that Trafalgar D. Walter Law either disbands his crew and joins the Straw Hat Pirates full time, or stays as part of his crew and just joins the Alliance. It's one of those two things. And a group of Minks, will travel with the Straw Hats to Whole Cake Island, which Peckham's will lead them, and Peckham's or one of the other Minks that travel with them could join the crew, or maybe the Minks join the Straw Hat Alliance. Maybe after all that, we see a flashback of Void Sentry and everything, find out, Nakamas and Dogstorm are part of the Revolutionary Army, all this other stuff, and Zou becomes one of the Straw Hats Island, Luffy's first island, as part of his Grand Fleet, and then they go to Wano after that, and then maybe after Wano, they do a year time skip where, Luffy and the Straw Hats just travel to Dressrosa and Zou and all their past islands to check and see how they're going and get control of them. Maybe at this point they don't, they go back to Dressrosa to claim it as their land, go back to Fishman to claim it as their land after they beat Big Mom. But that's everything. Like my video if you liked it. Comment, tell me how you liked my theory. These are one-shots, and I kind of am doing them off the top of my head. If I do them more regular and you guys like my theories, I will do, notes on a piece of paper, so the videos aren't that long. I don't have video editing software, so maybe eventually, if everything catches on, I'll get one of those, and I'll be able to edit my videos, and they won't be one-shot videos in my basement like they are now. But anyway, this is Firefist Bacchus, Aaron Bacchus signing off. I hope you liked this. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And until next time, stay safe and take it easy and stay thirsty, my friends. Bye-bye!